So let's go bring back to local politics. We got more news on the Republican federal abortion agenda. So Trump has not committed to signing a national abortion ban, but that does not mean that Republicans will not pursue other policy changes that will limit access to reproductive care. So abortion activist groups, one of which was the Students for Life. Her name is Kirsten Hawkins. She talked about this. She said, due to not having 60 votes in the Senate and not having a firm pro-life majority in the House, I think administrative actions is where we're going to see the most action after 2024 if President Trump or another pro-life president is elected. So these pro-life organizations are already prepared to not work through legislation, but to rather work through changes in executive protocol to get the policies that they want implemented and get them done. So one of them is to roll back Biden-era policies that have expanded abortion access, specifically through the VA. So the VA submitted the Veterans Affairs, yes. So like they have a whole medical system in the United States specifically for veterans. So the VA submitted an interim final rule that would enable it to provide abortions when the life or health of a veteran or beneficiary is in peril, or in the cases of rape or incest. They are already coming out and saying that we are going to get rid of that. The Veterans Affairs will not be performing abortions if your life is in danger or in the cases of rape or incest.
Holy cow.
So that's a whole other thing, because technically like the VA is funded by tax dollars, and tax dollars aren't supposed to go towards funding abortions because of the Hyde Amendment.
Okay.
But Biden changed this. So this is a recent change in U.S. policy that the VA is allowed to do this. Okay.
And now, so then the VA is saying...
No. The VA wants this. Trump is saying, and abortion activists are saying, if we get Trump back in, we'll take it away.
Okay.
So the VA would not be able to perform abortions
Okay.
in the cases of rape or incest, or if the life of the mother is threatened. Another one that I think is really important is what Trump will do to Title X. Now, what is Title X? Title X is a family planning program which provides free and subsidized contraception, STD screenings, prenatal care, and other services to millions of low-income people around the country. They do not directly perform abortions. They rather counsel patients about abortions because, again, Hyde Amendment, tax dollars can't go to performing abortions. In 2019, the Trump administration barred all clinics that receive federal funds from counseling patients about abortions or providing referrals to one. So all these Title X clinics, all the money that was getting money through Title X, weren't allowed to counsel patients about abortion or provide referrals. In response to this, a quarter of Title X providers left the network entirely in protest of the rules, and 22% fewer patients were served after this subsidized healthcare was no longer brought to these low-income communities through these federal funds. Trump, in response to all this, Trump gave Title X funding. He gave this funding to faith-based centers that don't provide or inform patients about their full range of contraceptive options and try to dissuade them from having an abortion. So this is like, these faith-based centers are more abstinence-oriented around sexual safety rather than actual sexual safety of sexual education and contraception.
Classic,
yeah. Right? Now, again, I want to emphasize Title X money does not go towards abortion. It only makes people aware of all of their options. And that's what Trump stopped in 2019, and that's what Trump will do again if he gets back into office. That's like such a bad one, dude. 22% fewer patients getting screened for STDs, getting access to the healthcare that they need.
Yeah, I mean, just restricting information that way of what you actually can do feels so like an authoritarian policy.
Yeah. Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Oh, never would have thought. Never thought the guy. Oh, also, never would have thought the guy who's been proven. He's been a proven sexual assaulter / rapist. Doesn't care about women's health issues.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? So that's not all. So he's going after Title X. He's undoing Biden's stuff around the VA and expanding VA access. Now he wants to attack the abortion pill. So Students for Life is pushing for the EPA to classify chemicals in the abortion pill, mifepristone, as forever chemicals, which will subject it to stricter regulations and require any doctor who prescribes the pill to be responsible for collecting and disposing of the aborted fetuses.
Hey, I can't. I have to give credit to their strategy.
Dude,
Right?
these people should all become lawyers. These guys would be wicked lawyers.
Yeah, they are. That is creative.
Yeah, right? So then
It's wrong, but it's creative.
They want to use the FTC to prosecute virtual clinics that prescribe the pill in states where the pill is banned. So, like, if you're in Mississippi and the pill is banned there, and you log on to a virtual call and your doctor's in Boston, and you try to get the prescription from your doctor in Boston, get it sent to Mississippi, not happening.
Yeah.
That's illegal. Then Trump and a bunch of his advisors have floated the idea of bringing back enforcement of the Comstock Amendment. The Comstock Act. This bans delivery of any lewd or lascivious material, like sexually related material.
That's
devious
crazy.
Material. Now,
That's crazy.
Where does this come from? It comes from, I believe, an 1870 law. That's when the Comstock Act was passed. This was the guy, Comstock or whatever. He wanted to ban masturbation.
Oh,
like
my
this
God.
is the type of stuff that they're working with now. So the scope of this law has been drastically narrowed by Congress and the courts over the years. One example of this, it is no longer can be used to stop the mail delivery of contraception. But Republicans want to bring this back full force. They want to cut off access to the pill and medical equipment needed for abortion procedures. So they don't want any mailing stuff bringing medical equipment to these abortion clinics that use this equipment to then perform abortions. Okay, this will allow criminal prosecution to both the providers sending the drugs and the patients receiving the drugs. This is locking a person up for taking mifepristone with the Comstock Act. That is their stated plan. GOP
crazy.
state attorney generals have cited Comstock to pressure major pharmacies not to carry the pills in their states, and it's been working.
Wow.
Pharmacies are no longer carrying the pill directly because state attorneys generals have been threatening them with the Comstock Act. Again, the Comstock Act is named after a guy who wanted to ban masturbation. This is where we're at with the Republican Party. This is where we're at.
This is crazy, man.
And you know where all this came from? Project 2025.
Of course.
That's where all this info came from. Project 2025.
My goodness.
Putting it
Okay.
right out in the open for all of us to read. Nice and plain and simple.
Yeah.
All right?
This is just like, as far as our basic fundamental value of freedom, really seems like we're throwing that in the trash.
No, throwing in the trash. And they're just attacking women's issues. And so we're not, I'm going to fight every tooth and nail to make sure this does not happen.
Of course.
Right? Like, all of you should get out there and phone bank and knock on doors and talk to your parents and talk to your friends. Make sure they vote. Make sure they know how to vote. Make sure they know where they're going to vote. Make sure they're registered to vote. Get all that shit way prepared before the election season so we don't have to deal with this in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, but also want to point out that even just in having Roe v. Wade overturned, it means that it is giving them the runway to think more about this. It's not just that we have to prevent more from happening. It's that we have to codify Roe v. Wade.
Yes.
It's that we need to enshrine majorities in the House and the Senate, as well as maintain a Democratic president, so that we can completely outlaw infringements upon women's bodily autonomy and freedom to, like, past this extent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.